thanks for tuning in. Today I will be talking about the books that I read in June of 2020. I believe I read a total of 9 books. I'm super excited to tell you guys what I thought about them. I also will be mentioning the books that I just did not finish. So let's get started with the books that I didn't finish. The first book that I tried, and this is actually the 3rd time I believe that I DNF'd this book. This is My Dark Vanessa. I've heard so many great things about this book and I was super excited about it. It's about this girl who had this sexual affair with her teacher when she was in high school. The book kind of starts off with her being 15 years old and then it goes to her being older, so it kind of shows how this type of love is like, you know, it's a different outlook. Like when she was 15, it seems romantic and it's just more fantasized than what it actually was, which was, you know, rape. And then it flashes forwards to her in the future where she should know better. The problem that I had with this book is that so far, the part that I've gotten to, which is page 84, so far it doesn't seem like future her knows that what happened was wrong. After a certain point, I just kind of got a little tired of it because it's like she seems to be making excuses for this grown-ass man who is basically preying on this 15-year-old girl. I couldn't get into that. Like I thought I would be able to, but I couldn't. I read this book thinking, you know, it was going to be a different outlook. Like older her is going to be like, oh, this is rape, and she was going to get justice and all of that. Reading this book, making it to page 84, she's just like, oh, I'm too old for him now. He can't, you know, he doesn't like my body anymore. I wish I was, you know, look how you know, she's like depressed that she's not young to get this old ass man to like look at her again, and it's just really sick. And I'm sure maybe it will take a different turn in the future, but like I just couldn't get past that, and for that I have DNF'd this book 3 times. I don't think that I'm going to try it again. This is an arc actually, so I've had this for a while, since before it came out. Yeah, I don't think that I'm going to try it again. I don't have the energy, and I don't know. DNF. The next book that I DNF'd, and I really hate myself for it because I took on this like mission to like amplify Black voices and Black writers, and I really wanted to read more from my people, and I found one book that I just really didn't like, and it just happened to be from a Black writer, and it's Remembrance. I don't think that I'm in the right mood to read this book. I think it's an amazing book. I really like the fact that there is a group of Black women who has some type of superpower or magical power. Sometimes they'll talk in English and sometimes they'll use different words from the language. If I remember correctly, I think it's Haitian, I think. But anyways, there's a different language in this book that they kind of like, they'll say different phrases in. And I thought that was really interesting as well. I really like the magical element, and I like how it goes from different timelines. So it's about like 3 different people, and they're in different times, different areas, different times. So my problem with this book, and it's a personal problem. It's not, you know, anything about the characters or the way that it's written or anything like that. My problem is I just wasn't in the mood to read about slaves, and this is why I say I don't like historical fiction. I believe this would be in that genre, even though it's like a fantastical kind of thing. I don't like to read about slaves because I don't like when there's like someone using the N-word that shouldn't be using the N-word, and it's in a negative way, and there's nothing being done. Like there's no fighting. It's the normal way in this book, and I can't. I can't do it. I don't have the energy. I can't tolerate that right now because of the current environment. I use reading as a way to escape, you know, the daily things that I have to deal with. Racism is something as a Black woman that I have to deal with every single day. I don't want to read any more books where I see the main character, a Black woman, being called the N-word, because I can't. I won't. So those are the 2 books that I DNF'd. I do think that maybe eventually I will get back to reading Remembrance, but My Dark Vanessa is not going to be read by me. Sorry. So let's get started with the books that I actually read and had an opportunity to rate. So I'm going to start with my lowest rated books and then go up to the 5-star books. I had a really good reading month besides the books that I didn't finish because everything was rated 4 and 5 stars. So let's start off with one of my lower rating book, which is only 4 stars. But this book has been recommended and it's like a holy grail, and everyone is just like, you know, have read this book, and I just kind of felt out of the loop by not reading it. This is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I actually DNF'd it like last year, and then I tried it again and I finished it with the help of an audiobook. It starts off kind of boring to me. I rated it 4 stars because it picks up towards the end and it gets really interesting. This book follows a girl named Blue. She's from a family of psychics, but she obviously doesn't have any powers because it's a YA book. So she doesn't have any psychic powers, and what happens is there's this tradition where her and her mom or her aunt goes to this church and they can see the spirits of the people who are going to die within that year. Blue is there. She's never seen a spirit before in her life, but on that day she could see the spirit of this random guy that she doesn't know, and she talks to him and he tells her name, and the only thing she remembers from him is that he's wearing this uniform from this like boys high school. Blue doesn't like him. Basically, that's what it is. Blue hates all the guys to go to this school because they're complete jerks and they're arrogant and all of that. She finds him because he's going to die, and they link up to try to find this like magical, like, it's been a while since I read this book, this magical thing. At first this book was boring, and then towards the end it got really interesting, and then at the very end something is said that makes me want to read the second book. I'm not in any rush to read it, but I want to read it. One of the characters said that they pulled something out of a dream, and I'm like, oh wait, that's a magical power. Like, I want to know more about this magical power of you pulling this damn bird out of your dream. Like, yes. Okay, so the next 4-star book that I have for the month of June is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I've heard such great things about this book that I had to get it. Like The Raven Boys, I found this book to be very boring at first. It was more like towards half the book it started to pick up and get a little bit more interesting. It basically follows this girl, and I am not going to even remember the name. I think her name was Alex. But it follows this girl. She's not your typical protagonist. She uses drugs. Like, she's not a perfect kid, you know? She can see these spirits that nobody else can. After this like drug overdose, like with her and like her roommates and all of that, she survives and no one else does. The organization finds her and pretty much, you know, puts her on this like mission at this like Ivy League school to like see ghosts. Like, you know, they try to use her skill to see ghosts and all of that, and I really don't even remember anything else. That's basically it. Like, she, you know, gets a second chance at life and she can see ghosts. The thing that I like about this book is it goes from like spring to winter, and like it talks about this is what happened when she was learning about certain things. She was learning about the ghosts and the spirits and all of this stuff, and then it flips to the like fast forward to the future where her mentor, the person who taught her everything that she knows, he's missing. And throughout the book you're trying to learn more and more about why he's missing, what happened, and all of that. I think it was a good read. I could see myself reading the next book in the series. I think it got way more interesting towards the end when there's like a villain, and I told you guys I like mysteries. I like for like twists to happen, and at the end I think that it was a really good kind of plot twist, and I'm hoping that the next book would kind of pick up with that same pace instead of starting off really boring like, you know, the beginning of this book. All right, so that is all of my 4-star books. The rest of these books were 5 stars. Like I said, I had a really good reading month in June. So the next book I read was from Book of the Month. This is called A Good Neighborhood by Therese Anne Fowler. This book follows the stories of 2 families that lives in this very nice neighborhood. So it follows this black kid and his mom. The mom is like a environmentalist. She loves her trees and all of that. And this new family, the husband is kind of like a local celebrity. Like, he sells something, I don't remember what it was, but he sells something. He's white, and he has a stepdaughter who is like 15 or so, and then he has his actual daughter that he had with his wife. So they move in, and they're doing like some construction with his property, and whatever they do on his property leads to a tree on the other family's property to die. Like, she knows that it's going to die, and she's very emotional about it, to the point where she sues him for a lot of money. First, they started off being friends. The black kid and the white stepdaughter, they're starting to be friendly. They start to fall in love, so it becomes more like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing. But it takes a prejudice ass turn when she files that lawsuit, because this guy decides that he's going to frame the kid for rape. And it's just, it was so emotional, you guys. This book is going to make you cry like crazy. I definitely cried reading this book. It's something that, I know I said I don't like reading about slaves, but I don't mind reading about things like discrimination and racism. I'll still read those type of books, but just when it comes to saying the N-word, I just can't do it. This book, like, I can't even say, just read it. Like, if you guys don't like it, like, just yell at me, just comment and yell at me. But I think this was a good book. It has a very unique ending. It's not gonna end how you guys think it should end. I don't rate books based on it not ending the way that I want it to end. Not all books can have a happy ending. I didn't see it coming at all. This was a really good book. I really don't think that it got a lot of like momentum or a lot of like press, or a lot of people are talking about it, but it's definitely a good book, and I think that you guys like it if you read it. Okay, so I read the first 3 books of a series, and so I'm going to talk about all of them at the same time. And this is the City of Bone series, the Mortal Instrument series. I finally got a chance to reading them, and I felt so behind because I haven't read these books. And like, I feel like as a booktuber, as someone who reads books, you have to read the Mortal Instrument series. I'm a pessimist. I don't believe things when people tell me things. I hear book reviews, like, I just be like, this book can't be that good. Like, why are y'all raving about this book? Like, it can't be that good. Like, there's no way that this book is this good. So I read this book ironically. Let me just see what this book is about, because I know it ain't good. Like, I know. Oh. No. I read City of Bones, and then I watched the movie. Like, I didn't want to leave the world. I rated this book 5 stars. I don't feel as though I should rate these books because I'm not paying attention to character development. I'm not paying attention to how it's written, none of that. I'm trying to get to the story. Like, I'm trying to see what happens. The way that this book is written, it's so action-based. It's so, like, you just want to know what happens. I want to know what happens next. Like, I think I might like this better than Twilight. Twilight had vampires and they had werewolves, but City of Bones have shadow hunters, they have vampires, they have werewolves, they have freaking mermaids, they have angels. Like, am I missing something? What else? Like, I can't even think of what else they have. They have everything. My favorite character in here, which you guys are gonna be like so shocked because I don't think people say it, Simon. I don't think people say Simon. In the first book, he saved the day. Like, and he was a regular person. Like, yes, we're regular people, snaps, because he didn't have Mortal Instrument stuff. He wasn't a shadow hunter. He didn't have any superpowers. He didn't have any training. And Simon came his little nerdy self in there and saved the day. Okay, I am a stan for Simon, and I cannot wait to hear more about Simon. I love Simon. The Mortal Instruments series follows a girl named Clare. She's a regular teenager, like all YA books starts off at, but there's a twist. Turns out she can see things that are not meant to be seen. I think she can see demons or something. So I get a little confused based on, because I saw the movie right after reading the book, so I don't know which one happens. But she's at this party or club or something like that, and she sees this killing of someone. And so she screams because she thinks that someone actually died, but it's actually the shadow hunters killing like a demon. They're like, oh my gosh, she can see us and she can see this demon. She's recruited into this like academy where kill demons and stuff. And it turns out she might not be a normal girl after all. There might be something that makes her a little abnormal, if you know what I mean. And I don't want to give away anything, so obviously there's like several plot twists. It will take you on an adventure. It's been so long as an adult that my imagination has really like pictured a universe or picture something happen. Like, I just haven't done it in so long that I forgot that it could be done. The last time that happened to me, I believe I was reading Harry Potter. When I read City of Bones, I heard it, like I saw it, I felt it. Like, it just took me out of like this current universe to like wherever they were, and I could picture it. I saw it in my head like a movie, and I just, okay, I'm currently reading the 4th book in the series. The next book that I read was part of my book club. I actually have a book club going with a few of my friends where we just talk and we discuss books by Black authors, and this was the read for June. It's called Such a Fun Age by Reid. So this book basically follows this white woman named Alex Chamberlain. She is a blogger, kind of like socialite Instagram person, and her black nanny named Amira. Basically the ultimate plot of this book, which I feel is a little misleading. The ultimate plot of this book that everybody talks about is that, you know, Amira, the black nanny, is in a grocery store with the white child, and the security officer stops her, and it becomes a big issue, and it's like racist and discrimination and all of that. But I don't think that that's necessarily what this book is about. That happened, yes, and it's like central to like the whole story, but I think there's someone from Alex's past. She's the homeowner, the person that is, you know, the boss of the nanny. There's someone from her past that is gonna come in and starts to date the nanny. And when she finds out, you're gonna see her true color. Like that, I feel like that's the main focus of this story. I think it's more like a romance kind of thing, but not really. So yeah, that happened. Yeah, the discrimination kind of thing, but I feel like it's a very small point in the book. The scene is filmed and it gets out and it becomes a big issue, but I really think the ultimate issue in the story is that this person from her past befriends or dates Amira. It brings up old wounds. Okay, so the next book that I read in June that I gave 5 stars was Full Disclosure by Camryn Garrett. Out of all of the books that I read in June, this was probably my favorite because it taught me so much. It has so much representation, and it's about this high school girl who is HIV positive, and it just follows her story of trying to be a normal kid and trying to date and having to disclose that she's positive. She meets this guy and they start to date. After she starts dating him, she starts to receive a few letters that says, stop hanging out with Miles or I'm going to reveal your status to everyone. And so maybe that is the plot. Maybe that is the ultimate issue, Secret. What I really like about this book is that there's so much representation. There's bisexual representation, asexual. The main character is raised by 2 dads. And so it's just so good, you guys. And then obviously there's HIV representation. And not only that, like, I feel as though the writer, she really researched this, like everything that she could. She researched HIV, she researched all of the different representations so that she can get their characters and like just know that their presence is like represented in the book. And the last book that I read was actually from Netgalley. Finally, I got a digital art to read in exchange for an honest review from Netgalley. And it was Smash It by Francina Simone. I have been hearing so much about this book. Smash It is about this girl who, she's really shy and she just doesn't really live her life to the fullest. She has a crush on her best friend and she basically just, you know, just live through life. She doesn't do anything to like really enjoy it. Goes to this Halloween party without a Halloween costume on. She's the only person there who doesn't have a costume on, and the bartender just tell her, look, you're not living your life, and when you get older you're going to regret just not doing the things that you want to do. She's inspired by Shonda Rhimes' book Year of the Yes, so she creates this F it list. So she wants to have a year of no F. Do the things that she always wanted to do and just like fully embrace who she is. One of those things is her trying out for a play. Just a really good feel-good book. So I did take some notes while I was reading it and I had to refer back to it. The main character's name is Liv, short for Olivia James. She has a crush on her best friend Eli, who is like this cute musician. He's in a band, and like, you know, she's always had a crush on him, like from afar, just like, you know, crushing on him and just like, oh, why don't he just notice me, you know, but I'm always gonna be just his friend, yada yada. Liv is like curvy, which I am loving it. As you can see from the cover, she is a bigger girl, which I am a fan of. We need more representation. Okay, so she's curvy. I don't like the fact that they made her self-conscious about it. Decides that she wants to learn how to love herself. Like, you know, I think that's the ultimate thing in the book, is just learning how to love yourself. And that is something like I feel like she learns towards the end. This book made me smile. Like, I love it. There are a few trigger warnings for a lot of the books that I mentioned today, and I do like separate reviews on Goodreads as well as my Bookstagram account. Each time I actually personally review a book, I would always list a list of potential triggers for all of them. If you're interested in reading a review that provides trigger warnings, or like you just know that you're like a little sensitive to certain areas, check out my Bookstagram account or my Goodreads account, because I do personally type up reviews for each of the books that I do mention. Those are all of the books that I read in the month of June for 2020. I will be back to talk about what I am reading this month. Okay, until next time, I will see you guys later. Please don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.